and welcome to Ask Mom's podcast.
Welcome back to Ask Moms, where we share real stories, real laughs, and real solutions for everyday family life. We are certainly not professionals, but we share our experience and remind you that
You're awesome.
We talk all things motherhood, the good, the tough, and everything in between. And today, we're diving into a topic that hits all the right notes. Everyone has different tastes in music. So when you turn on the radio, we switch stations until we find that song that works for the moment, what we need at that time. So whether we need motivation, we need something to calm us down, something to energize, everybody finds music helps them. And that's what we're going to talk about today, music education.
So, and what happens when you combine creativity, discipline, emotion, and play? You get music, right? In my opinion, one of the most powerful tools kids have to understand themselves, feel better about themselves and the world. And today's guest knows this firsthand. He is a dedicated music teacher who helps to bring imagination to life through instruments, rhythm, and song. So welcome. We're thrilled to have you here to share your experience and insight into the benefits of a musical classroom.
Big welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
What does music education currently look like?
In my school and the schools that I've worked at, we do have still a mandate from the curriculum to have music. In my school, it's 40 minutes a week. So every class does music for 40 minutes. So it depends on the day. That's usually equates to once a week. We actually have a studio. So
nice.
Classes from 4 to 8 actually go downstairs and they will be in the music studio taking music for one day a week.
Excellent.
We used to call them practice rooms in school, yeah.
Awesome. And do you have instruments as well?
Yes, we do. We're actually quite fortunate. My predecessors and then myself really diligent, really worked hard with the community and a lot of community partners to make sure we had a massive musical instrument. So when they get to high school, they're kind of at a bit of an advantage.
So I have a question about kids that have never played before. So we talked about the importance of music and how it can be a release for kids for stress, all kinds of different things. So my question to you is, how often do you see a student pick up an instrument that has never played before and embrace that?
Well, it happens every year. It's a privilege because it's one of my favorite things being a teacher is to see that spark happen.
That light happen, right?
Music can be intimidating for a lot of students, especially younger students. And that's what's great. It was just like in most classes, you have students that have different strengths. But it's I think that explorative side of like a music class or like taking music or learning an instrument. I'd say you'd see 2 or 3 kids like that in every class or this class.
That's awesome. So I guess my whole point of asking you this question, I'm a firm believer that music really matters a lot. In my instance, my son, I made him take piano lessons. And we talked about sometimes you can see something in your child that they can't see themselves right away, right? So you want them to try different things, so explore things. He was taking piano, and it's one of those things that you can, in our family, you have to do it for a certain length of time to give it a chance, but I would never let him quit. So he's now playing guitar, plays piano, but when he started, he didn't want to do it. So where's that balance? Like when you have your class come in, can you see potential in kids that they don't see in themselves?
Oh, absolutely. To your point about how important it is, I mean, just look at the way we appreciate arts in the community, not just music, but arts in general. I think it's really vital, especially for young people, to have those outlets to play instruments and stuff. Because, I mean, you think about school, yes, academics are important, and of course there's a lot of things in the media about what's important, what testing and everything, but at the same time, I think those other outlets like sport, like art, like music, like dance, it's really vital. It creates a sense of community. Like you alluded to earlier, it just gives some of those kids an outlet. So some of these kids that I can see in other avenues in the school where they might, have difficulties or don't feel as confident or for lack of a better word, struggle, it's really awesome to see them shine.
Do you find that music really affects your students, and what changes do you notice in the kids?
I think the first thing I notice is that their confidence. When you see that they're proud, the self-pride, and that they can do things, and when you tell them, oh yeah, you're playing like 3 chords now. You just remember like 2 weeks ago you couldn't play one.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. We have a rock band, and then we also have a concert band over the years. Very small. They're not like, your typical, like you'd see in high school. There's like 30, 40 kids all playing together.
Got to start somewhere.
That's right. Just watching them in the rock band is really great because it starts the same. There's more sort of leadership undertaking from me, but once they start to get more, into the songs that they've picked or that we've picked to play and watch them, I can sort of sit back and basically just man the soundboard and let them take off. It's really awesome.
That is great.
Yeah, and they do get to do a couple of shows each year, so it's great for them.
And the older kids, as you start noticing the world's injustices, world issues, things that kids kind of feel really helpless about and they can't control anything, music will help them. Like Bono said, pop music often tells you everything is okay, while rock music tells you that it's not, but you can change it. So these kids, being together in the band, they can see that through music, they can change the world.
Wow.
Yeah, we play such a precedent out in the community. It's really cool that we can, enrich that community by, adding music and adding art to
You're
that.
lighting the spark for them.
Yeah. And I'm even looking beyond music, like you, the benefits of reducing stress or making a statement or taking a stand, that kind of thing. But on the other side of the fence, even in general work environments, the confidence to stand in front of people.
Self-confidence,
Self-confidence,
self-esteem.
expression. How do you keep students motivated, especially like shy ones? Like how do you work with them?
One of the things that makes teaching both rewarding and,
A challenge,
a challenge
Yeah.
is, it's just like any other subject. You're going to have students that are really into it, other students that want nothing to do with it. Then you have other students, again, it's the confidence piece. So you really have to nurture that and that, this is something you can do. It's fun. That's the thing about music is that's why it's so important to us. Music is very universal across cultures, across communities,
Yeah.
demographics.
Oh, it's huge.
You don't meet a lot of people that say music does nothing for me.
That's right. You don't need words.
That's right.
You can get everything across through your music. I think that's wonderful.
The most important subject in school to me is music because it teaches so many, it does teach math.
Yeah.
It teaches self-expression. It gets you out of your shell. There's so much value to it. When I was young, I would sing. I could sing. I could really sing when I was young. And some of my friends didn't. So when I sang, my friends would, listen to her, And it just, oh my God, I was like a clamshell. I didn't want to sing. I didn't want to do anything because they either made fun of me, they weren't supportive at all. So I'm wondering, and I'm not shy. So I can just imagine this shy person that could blossom into something beautiful. Initially on their very own, they're afraid. And then they have people, that are like, you're not so great, or whatever they said, right? Are we sensitive to that? Do we, as a teacher or as an environment, do we notice things like that? How can you, it's almost impossible, like as a teacher, like how can you sift through that?
Right. To your initial point, I'm rather biased in that regard. We have 100-minute math blocks in our current system, and music comes around once a week. It's 40 minutes. So yeah, and that's the thing is we could almost do a whole other podcast about the research and the science of it.
Or tie it into the curriculum.
And that's the thing is we put such a precedent on some of these other things in the community, like competition, sport, arts. And when you look at where that falls and the, for lack of a better word, importance or how much we value that in school. And that's the thing is, different places in the world and different cultures, it varies, right? Music, the importance of music varies. And even just so much even in Ontario, you go to a high school and a larger high school in the city, you're going to see marching bands and concert bands that have excess of 80, 100 students.
Yeah.
Where we're just lucky around here with our smaller high schools to get a smaller band. But for me, the real promise is that it is still out there. Yes, we can talk about how not just at the school level, but in society, we've scaled back on so many things. As far as what I see, music still persists. Music's still happening. We still have theater troupes and concerts around the area. They have really good music programs at the high schools in both Bracebridge and Gravenhurst and Huntsville.
Yeah.
So it's promising. But yeah, to get back to that, how do you work through it? I think it's just, giving kids those opportunities.
And the shy kids?
The shy kids, the best thing we can do is, as music teachers, is give them the opportunity. They're not, and that's the thing, just like any subject, not all students are going to be willing to develop and be dedicated to
100%,
learning
yeah.
music. But it's one of the greatest gifts that I get back is watching these kids get this opportunity that they never have because, they don't get a chance to play instruments or even touch instruments.
Right.
So you can see them coming out of their shell and
yeah,
really
it's
shining,
great.
having a voice.
I'm thinking of one particular student who I'm teaching, like this year, they're in grade 8, but just to watch them go from like grade 5, wouldn't even pick up a ukulele or anything. And it was like protest. And then their first day holding a guitar, and you just saw a totally different student.
The lights came
and
on.
The lights
and
came on.
spark.
And
Excellent.
she just loves playing guitar.
Oh,
it's great.
That's
And,
wonderful.
and another student, same thing. Like, he was really frustrated, and he just came out and was like, I want to play drums. I said, fine,
Oh,
get back there.
yeah.
And then, like, fast forward 6 months, like, his parents are picking up a kit for him. He's playing in the rock band in our school a couple years ago. It was just great.
Take out some frustrations, work
Right?
off some energy.
And that's what it is. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a lot of therapy too. I think even as like educators, like we kind of forget that like we're planting seeds that like might take like a few weeks, few months, few years to like actually see the benefits from. But that's one of the things I love about my job.
Right from
And,
the get-go.
Yeah.
Even when they haven't grown into the instrument or whatever, the time that they're spending learning something, they're not on the street. They're not on the computer. They could be on the computer if there's a software they're working. But even the person just learning that in that moment, they're learning an instrument. They're not wandering.
That's right.
Right. And if that develops into more, hallelujah.
And that's the thing, is you got to think about all the things that, like, when you think back what makes like a well-rounded, like, young person and stuff, when they have passions, whether it's like in sport, whether it's in theater, whether it's in singing, or like playing instruments, or music production, creativity is still persisting. So it's not that it's going away. I mean, there's, if anything, there's more opportunities.
It's evolving,
to
actually.
explore.
Yeah,
There's more opportunities, but that's just my concern, is that like we're starting to really move away from creativity. And I think when you have outlets for creativity, both in school and in the community abroad.
Oh, and maybe with kids asking AI to write them a song, something like that.
Yeah.
But is that creative? Because I mean, from that maybe is creating a spark where they can they can have a finished product, given to them, or is that something that they can build on for themselves?
The controversy.
To build on.
Yeah.
I've been playing around with AI. I used it in October, and it is helpful. It comes, I asked for a specific whatever, and it came back, and as you read through it, you're like, okay, this sounds really good, except this. Or, so you can't just use it.
You
And
gotta
the same with
feed it
verses
things.
or poems or songs.
Yeah.
You're going to get that feedback from AI, and like you said, it'll spark an interest or it'll spark an idea. But if you read this, well, how it is today anyway, it might evolve. But right now, you can't totally use that word per word. It just doesn't cut it.
No, but if you take what you've got, tweak it, keep working on it,
Yeah.
and use your creativity.
Yeah.
So maybe you just
Get
needed
you
that.
going.
Yeah, you
Get you
needed that
going.
boost to
Yeah.
kind of go. Where do I start? I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
This is what I want to sound like.
Yeah,
Assistant.
AI is awesome for that.
It's your own personal assistant. I feel that music should be increased in the curriculum because there is a strong and well-documented relationship between music and math. Music and math share common skills and brain pathways. It supports our kids. Music is like a math with a melody. Practicing music trains our brains to recognize patterns, to think logically, and to solve problems, which all, like I just said, directly support math. Can you see that with your students if they are taking your music class, if it helps them improve in math at all?
What I do see, though, is sustained thought, because one thing that music you have to do is if you're playing at like a 2-minute piece or a 1-minute piece or a 3-minute piece, in unison with other students, you have to have like a very sustained focus.
That's like meditation too.
It
That would
is.
totally
And
calm you down.
And this is like, that's countering the 4-second change the subject, change the screen, scroll up on the TikToks. Like, when your attention span
yeah.
only needs to be 4 to 7 seconds, asking a student to,
Yes.
sustain their thought process, sustain their focus for
So great for memory
Yeah.
too and cognitive.
So yeah, you just see what it does. Like, it just centers students, it calms them down. They get excited about, they anticipate certain parts of the song.
And they're in the moment.
That's right.
So if there's all kinds of crap happening out in our world, music brings them into the moment.
Yeah, that's like the meditation. That's like yourself meditating because you're totally focused on that. You're leaving all your problems behind.
Exactly.
Anybody who's bugging you, thoughts that are persisting in your head,
Yeah,
you're
without
focused.
labeling it. And it's always been there, and it's always had the same effect.
Yeah.
It's nothing new, right?
No, I really love that you're encouraging the kids to have fun too. Tell us on the whole music curriculum.
I think the thing I always sort of liked about music is it's kind of like it can be almost applied instantly. So, take like for case more like whether a student plays in their church choir,
Yeah.
plays with their peers or
Yeah.
their parents, like you can take that right off the bat and go out and perform.
That's right.
Some of these other subjects and these things that we're learning and teaching at school, I mean, they're for application down the road. Yeah, I mean, yes, math is important right now. Yes, we obviously want our students to be literate and have good reading skills. But I mean, like when they're taking some of the other, like, you know, some of the STEM subjects and stuff like that, when are they going to apply them? Where, like I said, music, it could be as immediate as going home after school and meeting up with your friends and jamming out some tunes.
Absolutely.
I like that. And
Taking those recorders out in the street and doing some busking.
that's right. I never thought about busking over the recorder.
Or
But people would
kazoos.
probably pay you to stop playing.
Well, whatever works.
Or the famous kazoo.
Right.
Oh, yeah, those were fun.
Oh my gosh.
But no, I mean, and it's so weird because as you know, Kim, I mean, I go from teaching, 8, 9, 10-year-olds to then next thing you know, I have some other roles in the community where like, my students are like, the same age as me or a little bit older, so it's like, it's one of those things that never goes away. I mean,
Yes.
we're always going to be lifelong learners. And of course,
Yeah.
we as teachers encourage that, but it's so cool to see from all walks of life and from all age brackets, demographics, when they take a course in the community, like learning ukulele or joining like a choir or something like that, or and one of my personal aspirations, honestly, is I've seen them. They've been around since I was in high school 30 years ago. Are the Bifocals band, the local concert band?
They are
And
amazing.
They're amazing, and I have some former teachers and some colleagues and some friends of my parents. So
Very cool.
if and when I'm retired, that's something I'm looking forward to, like being a part of, because again, they're demonstrating how integral and important it is to the community, because they're from our community,
Yeah.
and they're providing like music for us and for themselves. So.
As a parent, when my kids are in your class,
That's right, yeah.
because you can relate music to them and say, hey, if you've ever thumped your, look at you tapping on your leg right now,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yep.
Thank you for that. That's
No,
awesome.
And that's what I love. I mean, like, let's be like, honest, like within a classroom, within a school, you're going to have students of all different like abilities, and they could have some like limitations of different degrees, but it's just like, oh, you can't play that. Maybe they don't have the dexterity for that. Here are some jingle bells. Can you please keep the beat for us? And just the light up.
Yes.
Like some students, same thing, that the articulation of some of the instruments, a little bit beyond them, that's no problem. Do you want to sit behind the drum kit and keep the beat? And they're like so excited.
Yeah.
So, and that's what it is. Kind of like those are the students I prefer, because they're a little more of a challenge. You're trying to find where their niche or their interest, and all you have to do is get that one little spot, whether they're playing like this instrument or that instrument, and then they like it and they get that little click. You can see it, and it's like you're never gonna not want to play that again, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, no. So, and that's my biggest thing is like when parents come to me and like they go, so now we have to go out and buy like a guitar. Now it's like, how much do drum kits go for? Like like
That's awesome.
so.
But you put a light, a spark in those children's souls just by doing that.
We try.
That, No, you did. Thank you, for doing
So,
that. So I think we can all agree, too, that music is very needed in the schools.
And I like the way you put that, Kim.
The spark.
Yes, because I can visualize that.
Yeah.
You
As he
have
was
someone in the
talking,
classroom
yeah.
for the very first time, and then you see the light go on, as you say, right? And then that spark never goes away.
That's right. They leave the classroom, but it's still in there.
It might be a different instrument, it might be whatever, but that spark, that love of music,
And at night when they
That's
go
sort of-
home, from school, they've still got that in
and
there.
I bet you they're thinking about it.
Instead of doing their English
Math.
assignment or their math, or it's like, ooh, algebra, or I think I'd rather go back to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Or-
one other thing that I really love is when they come to me at the end of the day and they're like, can I sign out like this instrument, or can I take my flute home, or
Yes.
can I take a ukulele
Yeah.
home? And we make every effort. Like we have the resources. So like, yeah, we have guitar cases. You want to take a bass home? I have a little tiny like bass amp speaker. You want to practice? It's just great because then
So I have to tell you something funny about that. So when I was in high school, I was a vocalist, but I also had to play in the band, and the band was instrumental. So I think the only thing left, we did plays and stuff. The only thing left was tuba.
Oh,
And I was on the bus for like 40 minutes, and then I had to walk 1.5 kilometers
Oh, geez.
to go home.
You didn't take a tuba home, did
I
you?
took a tuba
Oh, wow.
home, and I was probably 100 pounds soaking wet.
oh my
Right?
gosh. And the case didn't have wheels,
Oh, my
did it?
mom. Oh, you should have seen my mom when she was home. And so she says, well, I think we need to go to the school, So after that was clarinet. But that's why I mentioned clarinet.
A little
But
easier
could
to
you
carry.
imagine this little, I don't know. Anyway, I always loved music. I was in plays in school, but I was very sensitive, and I'm sorry if I brought it up a few times, but I was very sensitive about that person that loves music, but they just are shy or someone's told them they're not good enough or whatever. That just shut down. So thank you for being
Encouraging.
Yeah,
encouraging and looking for that in children.
So, as we wrap up today's episode, we are reminded of just how much we truly do need music in our lives.
Yep.
Music lifts us mentally, supports our learning, it moves our body, and nourishes our spirits. So whether it's a drum beat, a lullaby, or a sing-along in the car, music walks us through every season of parenting and life. True words, music is the spice of life.
It is.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on Ask Moms.
Yeah, and thank you to our guest today.
Thank you so much, ladies.
An
It was a
awesome
pleasure.
teacher, music teacher. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Please connect with us at askmomstoday@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube, but also on Hunters Bay Radio 88.7 on the dial or www.muskokaradio.com. As always, we hope we've helped you feel empowered, heard, and supported. And please remember, we know you do your best. Right, Kim?
Absolutely.
And you're not alone. So until next time, please take care of yourself and others when you can.
You've got this.
this.